Hey guys, CreamCrazy here, and I know this has taken ages. It's now 10 o'clock on New Year's Day itself. Now, I bet you lot are thinking, oh, why the hell has this taken so long when I said on Facebook, oh, it'll be up after my friends and my brother watch the In-Betweeners movie, or some shit like that. Well, I did record the video last night, if you must know. It was a big 50-minute video, and, well, I fell asleep during the upload process. I woke up to find it had failed. YouTube, you sicken me. But nonetheless, now we're here, and the fact is, still New Year's Day. We can say goodbye to 2011 in probably the only way I really could have ended 2011, you people, because this is the Wrestling Rant Awards. And this is my little look back on wrestling in the best part of the whole year. I've got 30 awards to give out here, rhetorically, because I've got a physical statue here. I mean, the only thing you'll ever see past this gaze of a webcam is my glass of water. I'm probably going to damn well need this, because when I recorded it last night, it really got annoying, and my throat kept trying to tell me to stop. Then again, that probably is my breathing technique and the level of loudness my voice has, due to the fact that the microphone either isn't going to be producing a sound loud enough, or I'm so loud it starts to break. I'll let your sound equipment be the judge of that. But still, 30 awards to get through. We've got 11 worst awards, we've got 11 best awards, and 8 middle of the road awards, which I'm giving just to people who I think deserve a little bit of credit where it's due. Well, not all of it's going to be positive. Keep that in mind. Right, let's get on with this then, shall we? First up, we have the worst TV show of the year. Now, this is the least entertaining wrestling show of the whole year. And please, I want to make this quite clear, everybody. If you don't know my videos and you just randomly popped up to my channel or see my video in one of your search results, that I don't watch other wrestling besides WWE, because I think TNA sucks. I can't watch Ring of Honor online despite knowing how or where, and basically, it makes quite a lot of sense if most of these results are WWE related, so please bear with me. I think there's only one candidate really to win this. There's no other one, and that is NXT. For the simple fact, if you ever watched it in the last year, you will understand exactly why I believe that it's basically complete shit. Come on. When it first came out, I thought, okay, this might be interesting. But they took it completely in the wrong direction. They turned it into what Tough Enough 4 was. Was it Tough Enough 4? Yeah, I can't remember. I can't even remember now. Where they basically put obstacle courses, gladiator fighting things. It's not wrestling related. And telling you now, it's lost Maurice, its major watching asset. I mean, sure, it's got Matt Stryker, who is one of the best interviewee guys around, plus one of the best commentators around. Yet, the show doesn't have anything going for it. There are guys on there we don't know or don't care for. The matches are really substandard, to be honest. And also the pros are lower undercard and jobbers. Come on. Come on, WWE. There's something better you could have done with NXT. Surely there's something better you could have done. But, hell, I mean, the fact is, hopefully this, apparently, the rumours have been circulating that Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Max Moxley, some guys who actually can wrestle in FCW, apparently, they could be up for NXT next time round. If so, I may actually give a shit and watch it, but then again, that's where the rumour mill starts tipping over a bit. We need to make sure we know, don't we? Then we've got the worst non-wrestler of the year, a non-competitor who has no use or worth on the product whatsoever. Now, there have been a lot of people who I could have put up for this. And I thought to myself, well, not actually, to be honest, there aren't too many. But I had to kind of think, who was the one person in the entire area of WWE that only appeared on screen and didn't do too much else that really deserved this award? And then it hit me. Oksana. Because there are two things she has done, and she's failed miserably at both. Right? One is being a ring announcer. She got it wrong. She got the facts wrong. She couldn't even do it with enough energy and gusto like I know I would have done. And basically, it just didn't fit her at all. The other thing she failed at was being a sex symbol for Teddy Long. because of course she came in, tried to be all sexy, and all when music popped up, and you know what? I would accept that in the PG in the PG era. I can't accept it. Well, in the Attitude era, I would accept it. I would accept it in the Attitude era because we think there's nothing else they could have done apart from that. And if you're trying to put a slut on the TV show that's PG rated, what does that show to the girls who realise that the divas are crap, not worth even following after? And then you see another one who is acting like the sex symbol that the media wants to go against. It's utter ridiculousness that they even put this on a PG product when blood, something which we all see in our modern day lives by cutting off hands and knees and heads and whatever you end up falling on, is censored. So if you're gonna put a slut on TV in a PG environment, put on something better. You know, it'll make me happier. It'll make me happy because I honestly do not give a crap about Oksana. Whoever does, try and fight your case by putting something in the comments section. Next are the worst return of the year. The return of a wrestling personality that failed epically. Now, this was the year of returns, really. Because, 2 or 3 people returned epically, with a few cameos, and to be honest, I think there's only one that can actually go up for this award, because it was that crap. Ladies and gentlemen, I give this award. It goes to Brian, Grandmaster Sexay Lawler, because in the midst of this storyline, the minute he came out, okay, I thought, fine, it's Grandmaster Sexay. I know him and King are related. Let's see how this goes out. The problem was, it was so jarring and nervous. He was not really... It was poorly done, to start with. It was poorly structured, giving him as much mic time as it did. There was so many long pauses between what he was saying that you couldn't... The tension just built up. Not only did he have the tension, because he hadn't been on WWE in the best part of, about 7 to 8 years, maybe. And the fact is that the audience felt it. You could feel they were being pessimistic and not thinking, oh God, is he going to really fuck this up? And the nervous tension just built up. And it was just really, really, I don't know, it just gave you that feeling that this was not the right place to do it, and especially after Joey the King's mother died, and Cole just basically dominated it. You think this was completely out of order, and it was just so wrong to do that to poor Brian Lawler, because I'm sure he was cacking himself, because of course he was told, look, you got to be as serious as you can, and knowing your career, Brian, that all you've done is dance around like a complete twat for the best part of a decade and a half, shows that, well, that's not your strong point, right? So I'm thinking it was just not the best time to do something like that, because not also the audience, who are mostly young people who don't do their research online. That's right, young people, I'm pointing in your direction. No, I don't care if you don't know what Too Cool is, then go search it up. But honestly, the return was not very good. I'm going to slate it and I'll finish it right there. The 4th award is the worst gimmick / character shift of the year. Now, this is the worst gimmick or character turn for a wrestler. Now, many would say that David Otunga would get something like this because it hasn't advanced his character, really. Going from nothing, really, in gimmick terms, to a lawyer. But the thing is, that's given him a place on the brand, hasn't it? Think about it, it has given him a place. I actually like him as the lackey for John Laurinaitis. Remember, John Morrison used to be that for Eric Bischoff. Think about it. It all sits out well. I think he's actually doing alright in that. So, even though I hate Otunga, I've got to give him his props. I might be a bit unfair in giving this to the guy I'm going to give this to. But Booker T, from wrestler to commentator, because Booker T, fantastic wrestler, in-ring competitor who, even though he might be a bit slow at times, sells like a boss, basically pones like a boss, and has a great work rate. The only issue I've always had with him, though, was that the Booker, his mic work, in an intense situation, was always right on the mark, because he always sounded a bit crazy. On the commentary, though, is where all of his flaws on the mic get exposed. And that, to listen to week in, week out, is just not the right thing to go for, you know? thing is, he talks on too much. He waffles about incoherent stuff too much. He doesn't really keep on focus. And his voice is just too loud for the commentary booth. And it doesn't fit. So, it's probably well, you're probably screaming at me saying, no, Booker T's a great commentator. But then again, we all have different standards of what the wrestling commentary should be. And this ain't my standard. Simple. I feel a bit angry giving it to Booker, but I don't see anyone else who's had a worse gimmick change in the last year that goes from good to worse or worse to even worse. If you know and I've missed something out any time during this video, the comment box is always free for your opinion. You've got a word limit, but I don't care. Put what we got in there, I will reply. The worst moment of the year. Now this one, I was a bit stuck on. Because both moments were experienced by me in two different ways and purposes. One of the moments was experienced here at home, on my bed/couch. I don't know which one it is, I often diverge between the two depending on where the Xbox is in this house. And the other was when I was there in person, watching it. And I was trying to choose which one do I put for this. Because I put the notion for this award down as the moment that made me cringe the most all year. And I thought, come on, I can't choose between these two because they're both abominably bad in two different ways. So why not? Why not get both of them in to share this award? I've never seen someone share an Oscar. That's because the Academy of Arts and Sciences are douchebags. Yeah, I could have seriously seen Persepolis join the Animated Feature Award with Ratatouille, but they were obviously not going to go anywhere with that. Yeah, Pixar bribing them. This is not related. First off, the one I experienced on the couch, just watching Raw as I would do. And you know what? I will tell you one thing, because both of these guys are crap because they contain the same person. The first one was JR and Michael Cole rapping, with JR botching his lines on the Slammy edition of Monday Night Raw on the 12th of December. Now, this is a stupid idea whichever way you put your foot down. This is one of the stupidest ideas I've ever thought WWE to put through. It was awful to put JR and Cole rapping. JR, a guy who, to be honest, can't move his facial muscles much because of Bell's palsy, and, to be honest, hasn't been on WWE TV much to know in an unscripted environment what to do. You find that thinking, oh, it's a bit sad for him. The fact that this was put at the beginning of a go-home show for a pay-per-view, it automatically makes it complete shit, doesn't it? I was sitting there with the palm of my face, thinking, why? And I still think that today. I can't watch it because it is just so abominably bad. And WWE, you wonder why your ratings have gone down recently? Look at that kind of segment. You don't put that segment at the start of the show. If you do, you then alienate a shitload of viewers, including me, because I couldn't watch the Slammies any more than that. I did come back later on, which I'm thanking God I did because I saw the return of Kane. But honestly, it was awful. And the other one, I was in the audience for this, and I thought to myself, I want to fucking punch that guy, Michael Cole. You know why? Because this was the April 18th edition of Raw, live from the London O2 Arena. The Michael Cole Knighthood segment. Because every time they go to the UK, WWE has to indulge in the stereotypes of British culture that America has, just because we used to basically own them. Okay? That's in the history books. Basically, if you go to Britain now and Americans, there are a lot of people who would probably act like the people from Jersey Shore. Because all the people who do, well, basically they act like complete chavs. So that's all you're going to see. You don't see some regal society with industrial notions. I know it's a stereotype that Family Guy, Simpsons, and South Park are often instilled in our generation, but it's annoying for me when I had to research this for coursework one year. Not good. But still, to see Michael Cole come out and then be knighted by a fake impromptu queen, we were booing the shit out of this. Because we knew it was complete bull and it was a complete waste of time. And the thing is, at least you guys at home, you could switch channel. You could fast forward if you Sky Plussed it. I couldn't. I had to basically brew the crap out of it, then take my earplugs out for the fire, which were for the pyros, and block my ears up because I didn't want to hear anymore. You didn't have to go through that. You didn't have to go through one of the most abominable things I've ever witnessed. And I thought witnessing David Hasselhoff hosting the year before was awful. This was on another level because they beat up JR. Jack Swagger made no contribution apart from his lisp perspirating over the entire O2 arena with no impact whatsoever. And come on, this is, again, WWE, this is why people don't watch. You book shit like this. And if you book, I know, from an American company, you trying to make the stereotypes of a country on a foreign wrestler happen. But come on, you're alienating an audience. So, for that, I'd give it worst moment of the year. I probably would give the rapping one the real worst moment of the year, but I couldn't. I couldn't not ignore that. I had to put that in. I couldn't shun it to the back of my mind, because basically, if I had to go through that again, I may punch a WWE official right in the face for writing such crap. Next up, the worst pay-per-view match of the year. Now, this was the worst match with very little in-ring action, worst psychology, and so forth. Now, I've given a lot of matches zeros this year. Mostly, they've been Divas matches, very, very short matches. Hell, I didn't even rate one match because it wasn't even announced on the card, even though having the amount of matches we had was decent, you know? And I was thinking, 2 matches, I only gave zeros because Cena did his usual Super Cena routine, and everything else that was done in the match was meant for nothing, because it was a beatdown and then everything. I wasn't going to give my worst match of the pay-per-view match of the year award for that, you know, because WrestleMania had 3 zeros. 3 zeros. One of which, due to the result and the fact it went on too long, which was the Cole Lawler. The other one, which was the 6-man tag, the 6 mixed gender tag match. And the only saving grace I would have given that from this award was the fact that Snooki wowed the shit off me with a backflip. Even though it looks like it was extremely choreographed, I was amazed. And in all fairness, I now have to say that thank God, this was actually worsened by, to be honest, one of the worst matches I have ever seen in my life on pay-per-view. Santino Marella, Kofi Kingston, Big Show and Kane versus The Core in an 8-man tag at WrestleMania 27, because there are 3 reasons why I hated this match so much, people. 1, it lasted a minute and a half. Come on! You don't put throwaway matches at a WrestleMania. That's a fundamental piece of pay-per-view card building. You don't do that, especially at WrestleMania. We're not in the 80s anymore. You could have scrapped all 3 of these 0-rated matches and put Sheamus, Daniel Bryan in. We would have all been happy. I bet I would have rated WrestleMania higher if it wasn't for that. You know, and honestly, the fact is, this match, or the second reason, it only contained Marella and his gang beating up the Core, and then all of them hitting their finisher moves. Or basically, actually, Kofi going on the outside hitting 2 of them, Big Show and Kane going after others, and then a Cobra was hit, I think Ezekiel Jackson, I can't remember now, and they got the win. And that was it. It was a very stupid idea. And third, and most of all, I gave this, I was cursing, okay, they're the only 2 matches, only reasons I gave it on the night. But when I looked at the Internet Wrestling Database, which the link will be in the description if you've never seen it, guess what? It was given a 1/4 star by Dave Meltzer. This guy's one of the most respected wrestling journalists in the world. He couldn't even get that right. So, it's the worst match I've seen on pay-per-view in quite some time, and I don't want to ever see one like that again. The only match I could probably put up to that, maybe Christy Hemme, Trish Stratus, maybe Carly Kane, I don't know, but they're all at WrestleManias, and not good, really, is it? The worst feud of the year now, which is the feud that gave crap mic segments and rubbish matches. There's only one that really could win it, King versus Cole. Because there were some great mic work segments, mostly buoyed up between the bickering on the commentary and etc., but the matches were piss poor. And there was no rivalry this entire year that got as low as that. I'm happy to say that nothing got as low as that. Because if anything did, we would be screwed royally. No pun intended, King. Because you were screwed by the booking staff. Definitely. Alright, the worst pay-per-view of the year. Now, everybody, as you know, I rated every single pay-per-view from top to bottom on a scale out of 10, as you know. And this year, there were quite a few pay-per-views that were on the crap side. I mean, let's see now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 13. That's half the pay-per-views were below 5 out of 10. Now that's disappointing, especially for WWE fans out there. You all agree with me, that is disappointing. That just about half the pay-per-view calendar has very below average shows. But the one that won out against all was Capital Punishment. Because apart from Alex Riley, Miz being a bit okay, and Punk and Mysterio stealing the show, what else did this show have to offer? Nothing. Simple. Because, the thing is, the Rey Mysterio CM Punk match had no build. And that was put on later than than Riley Miz, which actually had more build to it. And the matches were just awful. The Obama impersonator, Over the Limit, people say was worse. It had some decent matches. The Mason Ryan CM Punk tag title match I thought was pretty decent. In a meh way, but still. The Capital Punishment was just a stupid idea and it wasn't really done properly. And the main event was one of the worst I've seen in years. So it got 2.5 out of 10. I'm just going to leave it there because it definitely deserves that gong. The worst commentator of the year now. A commentator that is the most annoying, distracting from the wrestling in the ring and calls moves incorrectly. Michael Cole. No doubts about it. Michael Cole has to win this hands down. Because on WWE, guess what? If a little bird just told me online, well, actually I've known this for months, and in fact, last year I've realised it and known it. But WWE are realising now that Michael Cole's commentary may be very derogatory and very, very harmful to the build of a load of wrestlers in the mid-card. Yeah, because the kids who are casual fans will take the commentator's word and not give a shit. So now they realise how awful Cole is. He deserves the worst commentator of the year award from all kinds of places, and me. Now, the worst diva of the year. The diva who's performed worst in the ring and on the mic. Now, you guys may think of me being slightly wrong for giving this one. But listen, if you wrestled in a match, no matter how short this year, you are eligible for this title, right? And I had to give this to one diva in particular. No, I didn't give it to Karma, because she didn't really wrestle a match. But I'm giving this to Vicky Guerrero. Why am I giving this to Mrs. Excuse Me? Well, she was in a match of Kelly Kelly during the summer. And, if you didn't know, she botched a roll-up. That says it all. She botched a roll-up. She's not even a wrestler. She got in a match and she botched a roll-up. I don't even need to explain. Her mic work is the same old shit all the time. She hardly ever does anything on the mic. I'm sure. Her backstage parts, where she talks with Ziggler and Swagger backstage before the match, her backstage vignettes are okay. When she's not just shouting, excuse me, to draw heel heat. And honestly, no other, sure, you could say, I wouldn't cut the other divas down because they've shown okay in ring work, but they just haven't had enough time to show it. Vicky Guerrero got one match this year and fucked it all up. So therefore, she gets the Worst Diva of the Year award on precedence. And finally, the final of the worst awards, the Worst Wrestler of the Year. And my God, it took me 24 minutes to get through all of them. My God, I'm going slower than last night. I was going to give this to Zack Ryder before he wowed me at TLC. I then was going to give it to David Otunga when I realised he hasn't actually wrestled too bad as a tag teamer with Michael McGillicuddy, so he's gone. Then I was going to give it to Jinder Mahal because he basically got squished most of the year and had the most limited moveset I've ever seen. Then I remembered, give it to a guy with even worse moveset and mic ability than him, who was at the bottom of the ladder, so far down. To be honest, he's at the top of the ladder, metaphorically and literally, but he is right down there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't guessed by now, is the Great Khali. Now, honestly, How this guy became world champion, I don't know. And thank God he's no longer with WWE, because he's been a shit stain on WWE's portfolio and wage bill for years. What has he done of any worth? Nothing. He put a good feud with The Undertaker in when he first started, but that was about it. I mean, come on. He's not worth anyone's time. I'm going to leave it there. We know how crap Carly is. Let's just leave it. And now we get to the awards which are in the middle of the pack. The ones that aren't positive, are a mixture of positive and negative with various random stuff in. Oh, I need to keep needing drinks of water for this, honestly. The first up is the Rising Star Award. The wrestler who I believe is on the rise to the main event throughout the next year. And I think he will reach it. And that is Cody Rhodes. Because he's gone on leaps and bounds since 2010, hasn't he? He was metaphorically a lower mid-card jobber-ish before he got his smoke and mirrors gimmick going. Then The Mask, which was awesome. Put on some great matches, great promo work. He's built himself up really well. The crowd love him. I know Dan Parkin is now a huge mark for the guy. He reintroduced the IC title belt. He's a favourite to win the Rumble and the World title. He's got it. He's got the complete package, in my opinion. Fantastic variety moveset, great wrestling ability, great mic work, great music, great entrance, great gimmick, I would say. And I think he's got it all. He's going to make it. The Future World Champion Award next. A wrestler who I believe will be world champion in 2012 and beyond. And to be honest, everybody thinks this is a possibility. Wade Barrett. Simply because he's on fucking fire. He's been on fire since he came into the main company roster in 2009. And, well, 2010. What am I on about? Well, 2009 if you want to count the start of NXT. But, well, it was 2010 as well. Fuck it. And basically, great. One of the best mic workers out there. Great in-ring physique. His moveset is a bit limiting, but he has shown some aerial capacity recently. Good on you. He works well, he sells well, he's willing to put people over as well, even if he is Randy fucking Orton. And I think he will win the title. I think he's one of my favourites to win the Rumble, so let's hope he does it. Let's hope he does it. This would be great, wouldn't it? To see a Brit win the Rumble. How epic would that be? And now we get to the ones that aren't just, well, they're all centered around a superstar in some way, these couple of ones. But this one is the El Stupido Award. The stupidest award, the stupidest thing done by a WWE employee all year. Now, there were two candidates I had going for this. Two things that I would go going for this before I thought this actual winner up. I would call it the El Stupido Award because I was going to give it to Sin Cara for getting a wellness policy violation 3 months into his career with a big push. I then thought, okay, scrap that because that's not that bad, really. Everybody makes a mistake. And then I would have given it to Karma because she, of course, got pregnant during the biggest Divas push we've ever seen. That, of course, I then realised was nothing when I stumbled on the internets on a piece of absolute cock-up gold. I came across a news article which I'd completely forgotten about until I looked at it only a couple of days ago and I said, yep, that's the stupidest thing I've seen all year from a WWE employee. I'm putting it in. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of El Stupido goes to Finlay. Because if you don't know what he did, let me fill you in. At a house show, he authorised a call for The Miz to interrupt the national anthem and berate National Guard troops to get heel heat. And no shit, the relationship with National Guard that WWE has and the amount of insane patriotism America has towards itself and its overblown military budget, he got fired. You know him. I know he's Northern Irish and you could probably say he may not know better, but come on, this Finlay, I know you're old and you've been in wrestling for a long time, but wake up. It's like JBL goose-stepping in Germany. You can't do that. It's out of order to go and do something like that. And the fact is, to be honest, I would have been fine with you just going out and having Miz go out and interrupt the national anthem on its own. Because I don't want people getting pissed or getting you shouting at troops, you know? Because the troops are good people, whichever country they're from, unless those troops are used for quite bad things. But you see where I'm going at here? I know the military budget for America is over $1 trillion, and it is the biggest military spender in the world. And they're still soldiers. You've got to give them respect when due. Patriotism, on the other hand, I can't watch the September the 13th, 2001 edition of Friday Night SmackDown. And I can't watch Tribute to the Troops. And I can't watch Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I can't watch John Cena 2/3 of the time. Because patriotism, especially in the USA, is so sick and so sickeningly sweet that it can technically cause diabetes and even death. It's that ridiculous to be that up your own arse about your own country. You want to shoot me? I'm from the UK. I don't care. I know I'm up on myself that this country doesn't care enough about its country and its patriotism. But then again, that's the cynical people we are. I don't like patriotism, and no one is so up their arse about their own country like the Americans are. And if you don't like that, fine. But please don't shit all over my comment section with all your pro-America propaganda. That's just my opinion. I respect you Americans for being good people and helping to do a lot of things for the world. It may not all be good, but you've done some things. But when it comes to you worshipping your flag and your seriously outdated constitution, just don't go anywhere near it with me, please. I know this is completely out of context, but I ranted more about it on it now than I did last night doing this. So it's just something I want to get out there, because basically, it doesn't matter if you're not basically Americans. It's like saying you guys saying that you're the best at doing this job we do on YouTube. You can't. We all do it, don't we? Anyway, let's get on with this. I shouldn't have gone on that rant. I'm sorry, but you know me, I get sidetracked. Now, the What the Hell Were They Thinking award. Now, this is the craziest and most ridiculous thing done all year in the whole of the wrestling world, not just WWE here. No one else could have won this, because there's a usual suspect that the whole year has been based around. And this man, ladies and gentlemen, is Matt freaking Hardy. Because he posted a fake suicide video online. The whole wrestling community, in reality and on the internet, all went ballistic. And, to be honest, it signified the low point of a wrestler gone bad. And you know what? There's nothing more stupid, more ridiculous, more crazy than putting a fake suicide note up to then put it up and dupe everybody like that and then make everything negative go towards you. Because, Matt, what the hell were you thinking? You were on drugs. You were on drugs. You were on drugs. Yeah, what's alcohol? Either of the two, it doesn't really matter, because I bet you were on both. But, honestly, man, what the hell were you thinking? That's why I award yours. Now, I was going to give this next award the title of the Good God Almighty, which is JR's famous Hell in a Cell 98 catchphrase, for the most shocking moment of the year. I wondered, you know what? No. I've already got a moment of the year. Why would I want to give something to reinforce something else if it isn't that same moment, you know? So I decided to give this the Rufflecopter Award for the funniest. I somehow put most funniest moment here on my notes. Grammar fail by the English language A2 student. I was wondering, what is a fun thing that's made me laugh my arse off? Happened at the start of the year. I was really happy because it cheered me up. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Stone Cold Rickroll. It'll be in the description, because it's basically just Stone Cold dancing around and lip syncing Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. I mean, if that doesn't bring a smile to your face, let alone laughter, you got no soul. Because you're seeing one of the toughest sons of bitches on the planet make himself look quite cuddly and warm. It's just you didn't expect it, and it was funny as hell. I mean, there's probably a lot more stuff, like the Muppet stuff with Seamus. That made me laugh. But, yeah. That's one thing that made me laugh a lot all year. That's just the one moment that did it more than anything else. Simple. Next up, the Missed Boat Award. Now, this one one of my favourite awards I'm giving tonight, because it's the match or feud WWE should have done, but didn't. And this one was right back at the start of the year. This, ladies and gentlemen, was the one thing, even after all these rushed storylines, all these too elongated ones, I wanted this one to take place. I mean, after the Wade Barrett Undertaker match, which I would have expected, knowing the very live scenario of bragging rights. But this one took a little bit of a step further than that. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the Nexus versus the Core at WrestleMania 27. Because, think about it. If you watched the Rumble, when CM Punk came out and the Nexus were following him, the Core then ran out and they both had a stare down. This was... The crowd were on their feet. They were cheering. They were going, yes, we want to see this. And I don't know why WWE didn't look at that fan reception and go, you know what? We could damn well make an angle out of this. What was going on in their creative mind not to put this one on? Honestly, what was it that they didn't go, yeah, I'm going to skip on this? Because this was a perfect thing to do. I don't know. It just boggles the mind that after all that's happened this year, this was the one thing they missed. You know? Doesn't make sense to me. The 18th award I'm giving out is the Fucking Hell You're Annoying award. Let me just say that again in case some of you either didn't hear me or were so offended I made your ears burst. Yep, your eardrums will thank me later. The Fucking Hell You're Annoying award. I'm not taking that at any of you, because this is deducted to the main guy who I have found the most annoying in wrestling this year. And you could say, give it to Michael Cole. You would all be saying to me, please give it to Cole because he's such a douchebag. But no, because if you don't know anything about the insider wrestling business and the news sites, and you haven't been watching my In the News videos, before I cancelled them obviously, you would know this one guy has been on my on my blacklist, which is my friend told me is a list of people you'd want to kill. He's normally right at the top. This guy is Devon Hannibal Nicholson. Quite simply because this guy believes he's got the most giant balls in all of wrestling. That because he got... Basically, if you don't know the gist of this, right? He got into a match with Abdullah the Butcher. And because of some kind of blood transfusion of some kind, he got HIV. Apparently from that match. He then decides to wait a couple of years after going into WWE, having a contract, and then being terminated because of his HIV being a threat to other wrestlers. He then decides to sue Abdullah the Butcher this year for $6.5 million for causing grievous bodily harm and etc. He then goes to about 2 or 3 months ago to sue WWE for a wrongful dismissal of contract. Now, come on. I've said this all the time, that you made some fatal flaws, Mr. Nicholson. You went into a match with Abdullah the Butcher without really noticing the risks. This guy's made a career out of making blood in theatrical form. How could you possibly not know the risks of doing this with a guy with such a legacy of aura around him for that kind of thing? Plus, if you're going to sign a contract with a company, look at their fine print for their contract termination. You look at it and says, if anything you have done or have inside you could pose a threat to other people's health and well-being at the cost of us financially, you are not going to be able to go through with the contract. Simple. I've just explained, again, your entire issue here. You have no right to go suing people for money that you don't fucking deserve. Now, seriously, if I had to hear another piece of news about you in 2012, then I am going to be very angry, and I might just nominate you for the award again. Because I'm keeping these award categories here on the document and putting in points as the year goes along. So, let's hope that this doesn't happen again. I'd like to hear some stupid idea of how the Sue You Society has gotten. Let's hope we don't have that again. And the next one, I'm proud of this one, because I thought I could do an award like this, but because no moment came up, but obviously one did. I know the guy has come back, he's done a video to explain how he's back in love with wrestling, etc. You know what? I'm going to name an award after him. First YouTuber I ever really whoever really inspired me to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the honorary, the Mark Pearson Older Incentive Award, because this is the award given to the unique way to get older viewers back into the product. And to be honest, this is not a return, guys. This is something new, refreshing and different, something fun, that we haven't seen in a while. And I'm thinking, what? I just remember with myself when I had the awards down, and I originally had this award sheet planned since about August. I thought, what could I ever put this award for? And then I think it was Hell in a Cell. That moment came in because Cody Rhodes brought back the old Intercontinental Championship design. The older fans were crawling out of the woodwork, praising WWE. Because they are very nostalgic, us wrestling fans, they were clapping, saying, yes, this is awesome, and they were fun about it. I hope that Mark Pearson, if you ever do get around to watching this, what do you think? Do you like the new Intercontinental title? I mean, you may not have watched Raw or SmackDown or anything in recent times, but you would probably have to admit, Mark, that this title belt looks frickin' sweet. Admit that. And also, have the pleasure that I've named an award after you, so all goes well. And now, guys, I'm going to have a sip of water. I mean, at this point, you probably can't see what's on my webcam, but you probably just see a picture of me doing an awkward expression while I talk on ridiculously. Right. Oh, that's better. Now we go on to the positives. Because these awards, ladies and gentlemen, are the ones that I believe every wrestler in the whole year, if they want to impress me, they get these awards. Because you guys, all of you know, subscribers and casual viewers alike, you will know me as a person who is actually, to be honest, quite hard to please in the wrestling world. I have extremely high standards in the wrestling product, and to be honest, people may think that's a bit stupid, but hell, it makes these positive awards a lot easier to comb out potential winners. First off, the TV show of the year. Now, I was thinking, who has had the better year, Raw or SmackDown? And the only one that could have had a better year was not SmackDown. Because SmackDown had a great start to the year. After the draft, it got raped, and it was nothing. Still kind of is nothing, and it's built up a tiny bit towards the end of the year. But Raw, from WrestleMania, and then Monday, and then the WrestleMania season, Road to WrestleMania season, and then the Summer of Punk. Raw was on fire. It was must-see for the first time in a while. Great moments, great matches, everything. And I had to give it. I had to give it to Raw. I couldn't give it to anyone else. Simple. There was no other show I could have. I could have given it to Ring of Honor Wrestling or Impact, but I've already explained in the worst show of year category why I didn't. So, yeah, if you don't like that, go F yourself. Or better yet, be more tolerant of others, because honestly, I'm just a loyal WWE fan, have been for nearly 10 years. What of it? Next up, the Non-Wrestler of the Year award. Now, there haven't been many non-wrestlers that have really dominated the product too much. And I picked Mr. McMahon. Why? Because he was so central to the storyline with Punk. He's done some impact. He's been involved with the impactful moment of his own firing, which, to be honest, is a piece of kayfabe-shrouded genius that only WWE could pull off. And to be honest, he still knows how to do the job that Laurinaitis and co still don't have a hard time doing. So, who else do I give it to? Just give it to McMahon. He hasn't wrestled a match this year, so he technically qualifies for this award. Why not? Why couldn't I give it to McMahon, you know? He does it better than most other people, so it makes perfect sense why I've given it to him, eh? And then we've got the Return of the Year award. I feel really, really sad for having to give this to the winner I've given it to. I had to give this to The Rock. And because of the impact financially he's made, and the fact that people are going crazy about WrestleMania and everything, and Survivor Series got a buy rate that was 280,000 because of The Rock. The only thing is that Kevin Nash returned and was there wrestling and doing all kinds of things for quite some time. The Rock has only wrestled one match, returned 3 times since returning in February, and to me that doesn't seem deserving enough. I feel really contrived giving this award to The Rock because people who are saying to me, yes, Rock deserves Return of the Year. It was the best return. But I look at the return on the amount of input to WWE, the product itself they've actually given. And Rock hasn't really done that compared to Nash. I would have given it to Nash, then I would have seen a bloody public uproar. I don't want to see that. But when I actually look at it financially and success-based, it is the one I said here, in my category citation, return of a wrestling personality that was the most successful. And The Rock's one is the most successful. Because Nash stumbled on his mic work. And that's about all he did wrong. In my opinion, anyway. So I have to give it to The Rock. I'm annoyed I have to. I don't know why I said that. I was going to say gimmick and I messed it up. Oh, block nose, that's why. Gimmick and character shift of the year. Ugh. God, my body's starting to run down here. Which is, of course, giving for best gimmick... I'm saying this right. Gimmick character shift for a wrestler. Now, this one was easy. Because there was no one who went from one thing to the next and pulled it off as good as R-Truth. And the fact is, I was there to see it all happen. And that made it even better. Because honestly, it was awesome. The rapper, I thought... I didn't like it. It was too gimmicky and awful. He wasn't very good as a good guy on the mic. And then, of course, snapped and became a paranoid psychopath. I mean, it was the best gimmick change I've seen in years. People love it. And he's now a tweeter. He attacked The Miz and is still doing the same old shit. It's funny as hell because to be honest, with R-Truth's promos now, unlike most of the WWE people, his promos and vignettes are unpredictable. Because the guy is completely off his rock. You have no idea what he's going to say next. That makes it hysterical. So, it's made a guy who I loathe as a face and I love as a heel. That's fantastic. That's what a gimmick character shift should do. Change the dynamic and take someone to the next level. I could have given it to Cody Rhodes, but that wasn't really much of a difference in his... It didn't have as much of an impact, in my opinion, because it gave R-Truth a WWE title match. That's enough. The moment of the year. There's no contest. Because the year of 2011 has been defined by CM Punk and the Shoot promo. 27th of June 2011 edition of Raw, the start of the summer of Punk, put Punk in the main event himself, and put on one of the best pay-per-views and matches ever. And simply, there's no other moment that defines the year in terms of impact and just general... We will never think of this year as anything else but the year that Punk took a pipe bomb and shook the world. Okay? I'm not... You know I'm a CM Punk fan, but you got to admit, it's the truth. It's damn true. Best pay-per-view match of the year now. I was stuck on this, much like how Dan was. We were both thinking, is it Taker, Triple H, or Cena, CM Punk? Because both of them had great audiences, great psychology, great endings, great stuff in it that makes, and great moves that make a wrestling match worth it. It makes this product worth all our gripes. And there was a reason why I gave it to John Cena, CM Punk at Money in the Bank. Because it was an actual wrestling match. Because, sure, Triple H, Undertaker was a brawl. That was the only reason I didn't give it this. Because it had the same rating. I gave it 4.5 stars each. And people are saying you've underrated them significantly. I found errors. Even in those gems, I found errors. I've only rated a couple of matches in my entire lifetime of watching wrestling a 5 out of 5. So, cut me some slack, will you? And I gotta tell you, if it was a legitimate wrestling match between Triple H and Undertaker, they probably would have stolen the crown. But Cena Punk had much more of a legitimate wrestling match. And therefore, I will give it the gong based on that alone. And guys, that may be a different way of looking at it. But anyway, it's been winning Match of the Year awards everywhere. So, tip up the hat after the guys. Cena actually wrestled well. Well done. Pay-per-view of the year. Well, same context for the worst of the year, but in a lot better. Now, I look at my ratings, and I realise only 2 pay-per-views really come within walking distance. But it doesn't even beg differ, because only one pay-per-view was ever going to win, and that was Money in the Bank. No pay-per-view. Fact is, I've actually bought the DVD. It's the first brand new DVD of WWE pay-per-view that I've bought since 2006. Since 2006. That is worth it, because it's the best fucking pay-per-view I've seen in years. Since Armageddon 06, even. I didn't even buy WrestleMania 23, and I thought that was okay. Hell, Seriously. Actually, the latest DVD I actually do have, which I bought after. Because I bought No Mercy 08, but then again, I think it's still good to point it back. But Money in the Bank 2011, best of the year without a shadow of a doubt. And then we've got to the final 3 awards now. Wow, bloody hell, this is 50 minutes. This is where I ended last time. Shit! Oh, well, this has been a long video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. I've got 3 more to go. The Commentator of the Year. Now, this was for the commentator that called the moves correctly, kept the viewers informed, and called the matches well. Now, I couldn't have given it to Michael Cole. I couldn't have given it to Booker T. I couldn't have given it to Jerry the King Lawler, no matter how hard he tries. Because there was one commentator who actually did the job. Josh Matthews. That guy, I watched SmackDown and I'm impressed. The guy is doing Cole's job masterfully. He gets us all involved, keeps us on the wrestling, doesn't get distracted by anything, calls all the moves as they are, and he does a great job. And I think the guy, if he has the enthusiasm as well. I could just imagine Josh Matthews and Matt Striker doing commentary, and it would actually be bloody decent. The smartness of Matt Striker and his very big slanting nature of things, with Josh Matthews' exuberant personality on the commentary headset. That would be brilliant. I think Josh Matthews is a great future in the commentary booth. So let's hope he gets more time with this. Diva of the Year. Now, to me, there is only one, because with her in-ring work, she's been way ahead of everyone else. Her mic work, what little of it, has been the most convincing mic work I've heard from a diva this year. Goes to Beth Phoenix, because there's no one in the Divas division that has done as well as her on all levels and aspects. And unlike Eve Torres, Kelly, she doesn't oversell moves. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about if you've watched my pay-per-view reviews. Because I think Kelly oversells like a bitch. But that's about it. Ha. And then finally, we get to the big one. The one that everyone wants to win. The Wrestler of the Year award. Now this is the pinnacle. Because everybody, I believe, from now on, regardless of who you are, in a wrestling capacity, that's how you say it, tongue, this is the one thing which I knew was going to be a no contest. I didn't want to seem biased too, because you all know who I was going to pick. You all know who everybody was going to pick. Because like I said, I don't just do it based on impact. I don't give these awards out based on impact and push. I give these based on in-ring ability and mic work. Because that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's important. And I will give it to CM Punk. Because no matter how much impact he's made, he has put on consistently all year upwards of 2.5-star matches. He has not gone lower than that all year, I think. And his mic work has been fucking untouchable. The only guy who could touch him on the mic is The Rock, and he's only wrestled one match all year. And that wasn't even very convincing either. So, you may all say, oh, Cream Crazy or Fred or whatever you know me as, you're biased. You're CM Punk, Mark. Of course you're going to give it to CM Punk. But you got to admit, even thinking that right now, you lot are saying he's telling the truth. We know it already. CM Punk is the Wrestler of the Year. He is the wrestler that made it in 2011. He had the best matches, best vignette and promo skills, had the most impact as well if we couple it in, some of the biggest fan reactions. He's done it all. And therefore, he deserves it. He deserves this, and he definitely should go on to 2012 looking very, very strong. And holy fuck! 54 minutes. This is some kind of record, people. Unbelievable, as Chris Kamara would say. Guys, I can't believe it. I've finished my awards show. I hope you stuck all the way through, and I hope you have, because it took me a long time to do this last night. And I think, wow, this is taking me longer. This is ridiculous. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed more to come in 2012. Happy New Year! Up there, click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Click the video tab up there to look at my other videos if you haven't checked them out. Click the like button if you like this video. Comment in the comment section on any of the 30 awards I've given out tonight. And also, guys, don't forget to add, search, and vote. Add me on Facebook. Search for CreamCrazyWR on Skype. And vote in the poll code Revival Series poll that I have. I'm closing it at the end of next week. Okay? So please, do all that, and you can keep in contact with me a lot easier. Guys, I hope you have had a wonderful new year, and I'll be back for my next video, which is Has the Money in the Bank Ruined Championship Prestige? The 43rd Wrestling Rant. Amazing. Guys, I'll see you next week, and I hope everything that happens in the next week. Oh, that's just reminded me, Monday, this upcoming Monday, people, watch Raw, because it's 2/1/12. The unveiling of the mystery happens on Monday. Hope you're all going to be there for that. I've been Cream Crazy. You've been people watching. This has been the 2011 Wrestling Rant Awards, and I will see you possibly for a breaking news video. I probably will see you for that when this 2/1/12 gets unveiled on Monday. Cheers.